Hi, it's Laurel from Laurell's Nails and Care. Glad you joined me today for Canada Day nails. Right now I am taking white gel paint and I'm just spreading it out in the shape of a maple leaf with a long liner brush. You want to make sure that the lines are pretty fine so you can paint over them once you start actually putting the color on. You don't want them very opaque. You want them nice and translucent and just nice and thin. And before I started with the outline of the leaves, I put a couple coats of a black polish down and cured it. Then I used a red cat's eye polish and made a couple of different designs in the background. Then, of course, cured it. And then I put a coat of matte finish on top so that the gel paint that I'm doing now will have an easier time adhering. When I first started, I didn't have any plan really on where I was going to put the leaves, so I'm just kind of randomly putting these outlines kind of anywhere where I think they might look okay. For the leaves, I'm going to use the gel paint from Young Nails, Clutch, Solar, Fizz, Molten, Giant, Power Up, and Overdrive. To get the colors that I want for the leaves, I'm going to mix some of these gel paints together. The first I'm mixing is the Power Up and the Molten, which are the orange and red. Then I'm going to add a little bit of the Solar, which is the yellow. Now I'm going to clean off my mixing tool, which happens to be a paring knife, and I'm going to add a little bit of the red to the yellow to make a lighter orange color. And kids, don't be using paring knives to mix paint. Actually, come to think of it, you shouldn't be mixing gel paints at all. So cleaning my mixing tool again, and then I'm going to use some of the Clutch, which is the brown, and I'm going to add it to my red and orange mixture. Actually, I think a little bit of yellow was in there as well, just to darken it up a little bit to give the leaves a little bit more depth and shading. Okay, so I've been rambling and rambling and rambling. I keep editing this part and I just can't speak properly. So here goes. I am using the black which is the Overdrive, and I'm mixing it with the yellow and the orange and the red, which are the Molten and the Power Up and the Solar of Young Nails. And black and yellow make green, so it's kind of giving it a green tinge as well. Hallelujah. I kind of spit that out. Hopefully you understood it okay. Now I am adding more yellow and black to give it a little bit more deep green look. First thing you want to do is load your brush. This is a small one-stroke brush or angled brush. So I'm putting the red mixture on, a little bit of this mixture. Don't really have names for it because, you know, there's a ton of colors in there. And then the straight yellow, which is the Solar. Now you want to put the Solar at the very top because that's going to give you a highlight, so it kind of makes it look like there's light shining down on the leaf. And loading your brush this way and putting the paint down this way is going to make your leaves look two-toned in color. So to start out, start on your left side, put your brush down and wiggle it and make your way up to make a point, and then drag it down. And then you're going to drag and wiggle up and come down and wiggle up and come down. And you're gonna basically do that all the way around the whole leaf, giving it its maple leaf shape. Keep in mind the very first coat that you do is going to look very translucent, so it's not going to look very good. You want to do at least 2 coats on the leaf or the flower or whatever it is that you're putting down, in this case being a leaf. So just be patient. Once your first coat's down and you're happy with it, put it in the lamp to cure. Now you're going to go to the other nails that you've prepped up with the outline, and you're just going to repeat the process, making the leaves shapes with the 1-stroke paintbrush. And this is just the second coat going on the first maple leaf that we did. When you're done, give it a cure. So now I'm loading the brush with some of the yellow mixture on top and a little bit of the reddish orange mixture on the bottom to give it a little bit more fall leaf look. So in this section, I am loading up my brush with white. Now this brush I got off of Amazon, and I'm not even sure what it's called. It's like a round brush that's been cut off on an angle. It's a very cool brush. I've never seen one like it before. I'm just dabbing on the white gel paint, kind of giving it a whitewash look. And then once that's done, I'm going to put it in for a cure. So I'm just kind of making the backgrounds here to kind of look like the Canadian flag, just kind of whitewashed. I'm doing it again here on the pinky, a little whitewash, and then we will cure both nails. So now I am loading up the brush with the red mixture. Actually, this is the straight red, the Power Up. And I'm just dabbing it on the ends, just like the Canadian flag. And here I'm adding more white to the center because it's kind of faded into the background, so I want to make sure it pops. Then it's time for the detail. So I'm using red paint, straight red paint, the Power Up, and I'm going to make my outline strokes just like I did with the leaves to make this maple leaf in the middle of the flag. And after the outlining was done, I just used the liner brush to continue filling in the maple leaf. It's always a good thing to have a picture in front of you too while you're doing nail art like this. And for whatever reason, I keep making the maple leaf look webbed instead of a leaf. I fixed it a couple of times here. Can't seem to get it right. And here I get so frustrated with that top part of the maple leaf, I just wipe it right off and start all over again. Finally, I think I've got one that's gonna actually stay, and then I am okay with it, with what it looks like. I've cured it already with the first coat, and now this is just finishing up a second coat to make sure that the maple leaf is opaque instead of translucent. And then once the second coat is done, back in for another cure. Now it's time for the detail. I'm using the brown and some red mixture together, and I use isopropyl to thin out the gel paint. It makes it easier to make those really fine lines. Basically, all you want to do is give the leaf a couple of spines throughout, so you know, anywhere there would be some kind of spine for a natural leaf is where you're going to want to put your liner brush to give it that definition. Now I'm just applying some black in certain spots on the leaf just to kind of give it a shadowed look. Once a flash cure is done from the shadowing, then you're going to want to do a little bit of lighter colors to make it look like there's light coming down on the leaves. As you're doing this, try to extend the leaves a little bit more to a point to give it more of a natural look. You might have to do more than one coat. It might be a little translucent just with one coat. So if that's the case and you want it a little bit more opaque, definitely do a second or third coat. And we're coming to the end of the tutorial. Right now, I'm just going to apply a clear coat to all of the nails. The clear coat is going to help protect the nail art. It's also going to level out the nail art because when you're using gel paint or gel polish for nail art, it raises, like the design is actually raised on the nail, so it helps level that out. That's why acrylic paints are kind of more used for nail art, but because I didn't file the sheen off and I used a matte instead, you can't really use acrylics on matte because it just kind of, the paintbrush just kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a Velcro to the brush instead of gliding along nicely. And once you have the clear coats on, make sure you cap and then put it in for a full cure. And here's my finished Canada Day nails. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.